A very warm welcome to everyone. So today I'm going to show you how we can use the print function in Python to get the output of the program. What are different data types like string, integer and floats. How you can use the input function to get the input from the end user. How to convert string to an integer, and how you can give your own statement in print statement to get the output in the more descriptive way. So let's quickly start. Okay, so let's start first with an example. So this is my window where I will type the programs, and right side is the ideally shell where I will get the output of the program. So before that, if you haven't got my previous video where I have shown you how to install Python and how to open ideally, I suggest to go through that video first so that you can get much more clarity how we run the programs in Python. So quickly start the print function first. So print is the command all in lowercase, which is print, and I'm going to give the value like this. Let me say hello Alexa. So I give in double quotes the string. The string is always in quotes. Now this can be single or it can be double quotes. So I type in my file hello Alexa, save, and I'm going to run this file. Now see what will happen. It will give me the output print Alexa. So this is the output of my statement which I print hello Alexa. Now if I give in the single quote, see what will happen. Hello Alexa. I'm going to save it, then F5 key. Now hello Alexa. So the result is same, which means the string can be in single quotes or in double quotes. Other example which I can show is for the numeric numbers. Suppose let's say I say print number 4. Okay. Now let me save it and let me run this program. Now this says 4. So this 4 is the integer, right? Now if I say print single quotes 4, I like this. So I'm going to save it. Now what will be the result? The result is 4. Now what's the difference between this 4 and that 4? Let me remove this. Okay. So this single quotes will be considered as a string, and this number 4 will be considered as the numeric value where you can perform the operations. Right. Now let me show you other example of float. Like if I print 4.5, now what will the result? And I'm going to print 4.5. The result would be same. One would be string and one would be integer. So this is the integer, float, and your string, how you define in the print function. So let's define some string in more meaningful way now. Okay. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to say city is equal to Dubai. Or let me make it city 1. So this time we are going to use the variables. Now what are variables? Variables are the variables are used to define the values which you can use in the program to print the output, or you can use them to change the values in the program. So let's look this example first. You will get the much more clarity. So in Python, space space does not make any matter unless you are doing something in the meaningful way. So even if I give space, let me show you later on. So city 1 is Dubai, city 2 is, let's say, Singapore. Okay, so I'm going to print city 1, and here I'm going to print city 2. Now let's see what is the output. Dubai and Singapore. That's the output of the string. Okay. Now if I just minimize this, hide this window of my code, you will just get Dubai and Singapore. So let's make it some more meaningful. Okay, let me say print my friend is in, let me put some string here, comma, let me say city 1. Okay, and in next statement I am giving I live in city 2. Now what will be the output? See, it says I live in, my friend is in Dubai, and second one is I live in Singapore. So this my friend is in the string, and city 1 is the variable I defined the value Dubai. So it printed that string, my friend is in, and then the variable Dubai. Second one, I live in string, city 2 is Singapore. So it put in I live in Singapore. Okay, so now let's start with some basic programming. Let's take first with program to add two numbers and see how we can use the different print ways to get the output. So I'm going to remove all this first. Now let me put in a program like number 1 is equal to 10. Okay, number 2 is equal to 20. So what I've done is I have defined 10 to number 1 and 20 to number 2. Okay, so one thing to remember here is the values are assigned from right to left. That means 10 is assigned to number 1, NUM1, and 20 assigned to NUM2. So let us say sum equals to number 1 plus number 2. And in next statement, I'm going to print sum. Save it and run it. Now what's the output? The output is number 30, which says number 1 10 plus number 2 20. So output is 30. Now this 30 it just gives the result. It does not give you any information what 30 is if you do not see the code. So although we have the program descriptive which says sum, so if you have the program, you say sum would be 30. So one thing to remember here is always define the variables descriptive, so that if in case you're going to look for the program or doing some debugging in the program through variables, you will get the idea what exactly it is. Okay. Let me put it some more informative here. Let us say print sum of number 10 and 20 is, okay, let's say sum. Okay. Now what will be the result? Okay, It says sum of number 10 and 20 is 30. Okay. So now you mentioned here 10 and 20. Now in case you have the variables and you do not want this to mention 10 and 20. Now let's see the other way, how we can do that. Alright, so let's see the other way. Print. This time I am putting single quotes. Sum of numbers, that is, I am closing it out, comma, oh no comma, let me put some plus. Now this number 1 and number 2 are integers. I need to put in addition to a string. So I need to convert first this integer to string. Now str is the command through which you can convert your integer to a string. Okay, so I'll say str, I want number 1. Okay, so bracket closed, plus I need this to be added. Now I need the plus sign. I need 10 plus 20 equals to 30. So let me give here plus as the string. It will come up. Okay, another plus, which will be str number 2, like this. Now if I need equal to sign, that's up to me. So let me put the equal to as well, like this. Oops. So this is single quotes. And what else? So right, comma, sum. Now if there is any error, it will show up, else it will run the program. Although we can make changes depending on the output. See, sum of numbers, that is 10 plus 20 is 30. If I need some space here, I can put a space like this, and plus, and like this, save. Okay, or I can give one space here as well. Now see, sum of numbers, that is 10 and 20 is 30. One space here. Now what we have done is, we have done some correction in the program. How? Now, even if I define the values 10 and 20, if I change it to, let's say I change it to 15, and this one I change it to 5, it will not give the description would be correct. See, now it shows 15 plus 5 equals to 20, which is right. But in above, if I show here, which was the previous values, 10 and 20 sum, the answer is wrong. See, it's now showing 20. So this is the way which, if you have defined the values, you can describe in the print statement how to get the values in different formats. So let me show you the other way of the print function. So I type in here print. Now I put in like this, %s plus, let me put in some space. So space should only be used for indentation. However, the Python works without space as well, unless you're changing something else. So if I put in like this, this is the other way. Like I put in the values first, num1, num2, comma sum. Close the bracket, save it, and see what will happen now. Oh, sorry. It will show an error if something is missed. I missed one bracket to close. Now, see, this statement defines the result like this: 15 plus 5 equals to 20, depending on the format this. So it put in the values, put these, like num1 is the first one, num2 is the second one, sum is the last one. So this is the other way in which you can define the print statement. Now, this is the very simple program in which the inputs were already given, like number 1 15, number 2 5. But in the real world, it does not make any sense. We want the input to be given by ourselves or by the end user. So how we are going to achieve that? So for that, we have the input function. Let me show you how input function works. So I'm going to remove all this. Okay. Now let me say city1 is equal to input. Okay. I'm going to save it and I'm going to run this file. Now it's on the top. Let me close this as well. Yes, it will run the program again. So run it again. Okay, now see. It does not give me this bash. Bash means that we are still in the way we can type the programs here as well. So it's waiting for the input. Now let me see city somewhere like Australia. Although it's a country, it's fine. So if I print, now the city is given, but if I print city1, what will be the answer? It's waiting for the input. The answer is Australia. That means black one is the input and blue is the output. So input function is used to give the input. Now, if I remove this, let's say I run program again. Okay, now see what I'm going to show here. I'm going to show you, it does not show you anything, that what exactly it's waiting for. So again, we can type something here, like, that means we need to put something here which shows us that what exactly it's waiting for. So to like this, city versus, oh sorry, I'm going to use single quotes. Okay, so let's remove this one. Okay, let's make it city here as well. Okay, now save it and run this. Now it shows you we need city, so we can define this as well. Now let's say city is London. Now it gives an error because here I'm using the city1. City London. Let's make it more clear now. Like enter city name colon space. Now run this program. Enter city name Mumbai. The answer is Mumbai. Okay. So let's make it much clearer again. City1 is equal to input enter city name. Let's close like this. Okay. City2 input enter city name 2. So save it and run it. So enter city name. Let me see this time. Goa. Okay. Now you can enter city name 2 depending on your choice. Let us say Ahmedabad. Sorry, spelling is wrong. Sorry about that. Ahmedabad. So I haven't printed yet, so that's why just asking for the input. So this is the other way in which you can type the input. Okay. Now let's talk about the numbers. Here is a something you need to identify about the numbers. So if I say input, enter number 1. Okay. Now I am going to say number 2, input, enter number 2. Oops. Make sure you are careful about the quotes. Without quotes, it can lead to problem. Okay. Now sum. Number 1 plus number 2. I'm going to print. I'm going to print this time. You can define the description as per your own way. So I'm going to print sum. Okay. Now let me remove this. What I'm going to show you. Okay. Now I'm going to run this file. Enter number 1, 20. Enter number 2, let me say 30. Now what will be the output? Do you think it would be 50? No, it's not. Let's see. See, the output is 2030. The reason is the input function always takes the input as a string. So it took 20 as a string, 30 as a string, and through plus operator, it merged together, so it becomes 20 plus 30. Now, how we can fix that? Okay, first let's find out what actually happened. Okay, so there's a type, a mini program in Python, which helps you to identify the data types. That how you can identify the data types. Which data type is it? Okay, let me show you print. So type function is the other one, and I'm going to put in here number 1, for example. Okay, so save, and I'm going to run this file now. Number 1 is 20, again number 2 is 30. See, so which says print type number 1 is a string. That means input function is taking this value as a string, not the numeric values. So how we can fix that? Let's first see if number 2 is right. Maybe Python is not right. Maybe it's doing something on its own. Let's see what is the number 2 says. Is it say string or something else? Hmm. 20, 30. See, number 2 is also a string. Okay, so no problem. Let's fix it out. So the command to convert the string to the integer is int. So I want number 1 to be converted to int number 1. Okay. So what we have done is we have replaced the values using the same variables. That means now int will convert this number 1 string to integer and will again assign to number 1. So we can use different variables like number 2, 3, 4, but if we have the same variables, we can use same one just to make the program in short, because variables help us to replace the values as well in the program. So I do not need number 1, number 2 string later on, so that's why I am replacing this with number 1, and which means num1 and number 2 to string function. Okay. So now let us do like this. Let us put it down here like this. Here. And let's print sum down. Okay. Now I have done two things here. I'm going to print this statement 2 times. One is on the top, it will show the string, and this will show you numeric values. And I'm again putting this data type to see which type is coming in now. Okay. So let's save it and run it. Same values, 20 and 30. See. So now it says number 1 is 20, number 2 is 30, the class is integer, and the answer is right, which is 50. So you can define the print in your own way, like sum of, I'm putting it like this, you can put in your own way, which we discussed before. Sum of 2 numbers is, comma sum. Same values, 20, 30. Sum of 2 numbers is 50, or you can say sum of number 1 and number 2 number is like this. This time let me change 80 and 20. The sum of number 1 number is 100. If we want some more descriptive, we can put it like this. This one, percent %s plus percent %s equals to percent %s string percentage number 1 comma number num1 variable and number 2 variable and sum. So this will give the much more clear picture what exactly they are going to run. 56 plus 98. So 56 plus 98 is equal to 154. Alright, so that was about the programming. Now let's study about what we have studied so far, and let's recall all these things. Just a recap. So we studied about the Python data types like string, integer, and floats. Then string is data counted by single quotes or the double quotes. So that value is counted as a string. Integer and float are numeric values, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 or 4.1 are floats and integers. Values allows us to assign or store data that can be used later on. Any variable defined is to be in small letter. Yes, very important. So you cannot define the variable without spacing or special character. It can have underscore as an exception. We can start with underscore, but no spacing, no special character. Okay. Now, input function is used to give the input to the program from the end user. Data provided through input function is always accepted as a string. If you add the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be counted as a string. And if you're going to do any operations like addition, division, multiplication, you need to convert that data first to the numeric values or integers through int function. So same int function used to convert string to integers. Same we can use the float function, which is float, to convert the string to the float. You can test on your own. We can only convert numeric variables. I mean, like you suppose you give 1, 2, 3, 4 in a string, so input function. You will be only able to convert those values to numeric values. You cannot convert string like hello, MyPython, Alexa to convert to the integers. It will give you an error. Okay, so guys, that's much for today's video. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel, like and comment. And I suggest to make your own programs, practice programs. It will give you a lot of exposure, different ways, and it will enhance your skills. Personal thanks to everyone for watching it out. Take care. Bye-bye.